In today's segment on exposing the music industry, the question is, should you sign your publishing? So, quick refresher, when it comes to publishing, what are we talking about? We're talking about the composition side of your song. When you make a song, you have chords, lyrics, melodies, that's the composition. As soon as you record it, that's the master, that's the sound recording. Typically, when you do record label deals, the label's going to come in, take ownership of the sound recording, that's gone. You no longer own it, but you still own your composition, right? So therefore, you own your publishing. So the reason why we care and we're excited about publishing and we're talking about this today is because one of the benefits of retaining ownership in your publishing is that you can sell it later on if you want to. And we know Justin Bieber, Dr. Dre, they just recently sold their publishing rights and their share of the catalog that they had for an estimated $200 million each. So obviously there's a lot of money just with the publishing rights. But we also know with artists like Taylor Swift, she is re-recording her albums because in a lot of the standard contracts with record labels, it says you will not be able to re-record your music because, again, if you own the song, you can make new versions of that song. Okay. And that is, for example, what Taylor Swift has done. What does a publisher do? The publisher is going to help to promote the artist's song. The publisher is also going to help with licensing. So we talk about sync licensing, which is syncing the music to film. Okay, so film, television, ads, and other media. And we have spent a lot of time on this channel discussing ways to get your music into TV and film, to get them into Netflix shows, because that's how you can make some great money. But if you have a great publisher that has relationships that can get sync placements for you, fantastic. So that's one of the benefits and why sometimes we're interested in doing these deals. Also, the publisher is going to monitor your song usage. Okay, so meaning they're going to help to collect public performance royalties. So you're like, oh, I'm not doing that. Maybe you are. If you're not doing it, I'm going to still teach you how to do it by the end of this video, even if you don't have a publisher. But those are the sexy things about potentially working with a publisher and what they're going to do for you. So then let's talk about publishing deals. So there are exclusive and non-exclusive publishing deals. Exclusive publishing deals are when you are signed to the publisher exclusively. You can only work with that publisher, and usually it's for, a pretty decent amount of time. It might be 2 years, it might be 5 years. I think 4 or 5 is a little more common. But if it's exclusive, we care about that because you can't go anywhere else. You can only work with that one company, and we only care about that if they're doing a crappy job. Most of the time, you've never worked with this company before. And so they're saying, hey, sign the contract. We're going to represent you. You can't go anywhere else. They're making you all these promises, and you don't know if they're going to keep them. So typically with new relationships, I'm very much more leaning towards non-exclusive. A lot of them don't want to do that. But nonetheless, if you do non-exclusive, it just gives you the right to take songs elsewhere. And let me give you a little pro tip, okay? When it comes to doing these deals, whenever you can do non-exclusive, great. If you have to do exclusive, say it's only the songs I give to you. Okay, so it's not my entire catalog, it's only the songs I give to you. The types of publishing deals, you have collection deals, you have admin deals. So admin deals typically they are administering your rights. There are no advances. They issue licenses. They help you get sync licensing. That's all great. Collection deals, pretty simple. They're just going to collect your royalties. Okay, so they're going to register your music on the applicable performance rights organization website. I'm going to show you how to do this yourself or where to do it. But, and they'll take a fee. And same with the admin deals. They might take as little as, let's say, 15%, but I've seen some pretty aggressive deals where they're still taking, let's say, 50%. And then another common, and probably the most common, is a co-publishing deal. This one matters because typically they're coming in and they're going to wave an advance in your face and say, let's, $50,000, $100,000 as a signing bonus. But the trade-off is that you are giving co-ownership in your publishing. So I was reviewing one of these co-publishing deals earlier this week, and one thing that stood out to me is that they were taking 50% ownership in perpetuity, okay, for all the music and all the things that happened during the very long relationship that was going to be between the parties. And they were giving no advance. They were actually making no promises of what they were going to do. So these are the kinds of things you need to keep in mind especially if you're going to do a co-publishing agreement. So, do you need a publisher? My question is always going to be, what does the contract say? What are they offering to do for you? Because the reason why I just laid it out is that anywhere along the line here, the publisher can collect monies on your behalf and just do for you what you could do for yourself. And they might be taking 50%, they might take 25%. And so it's whether that makes sense or whether you should literally just go and register your music on the applicable platforms. So then let's go to what is that and where is that? Register your music, okay? If you want to make sure that you are collecting all of your publishing income, you don't have to get a publisher. You can collect your publishing income. The way you do that is you register your music, if you're in the United States, on BMI or ASCAP. These are the performance rights organizations in the United States. And outside the United States, there are different entities. You just do, a search. But what I do is I do BMI, and then I also register the music on Songtrust, because Songtrust collects via the entities outside of the United States. Okay? And then lastly, if you are in the United States, the Mechanical Licensing Collective. These are the 3 platforms you're going to take your music to and you're going to register. And the great news is that it's not super complicated. And you can find all kinds of tutorials on how to register your music if you don't know how. But this is essentially what an administrator or a publisher is offering to do for you. Okay, and I want you to be clear about this. The far majority of independent publishers are just going to go and register your music and they'll collect the revenues, take their share, and pay you the rest. So my question is, if that's the case, why wouldn't you just go and collect your own publishing? Because you don't have to set up your own publishing company to collect your publishing income. That's the beautiful thing about how this works. Pros and why we might want to still sign with a publisher. Maybe they're a big name. Some of these companies can get you in with other artists and songwriters and to do collaborations, and then they're going to work really hard to get your music into sync or get them, placed. So all of that kind of goes into your consideration on whether you're going to do this. And the answer to should you sign your publishing, I'm usually tending to lean towards no, because it doesn't make sense giving up ownership, giving up rights. So exercise a little of these pro tips. If you are going to do the deal, try to do non-exclusive. If you are going to do exclusive, make sure you can take new music elsewhere. It's not just necessarily with this company forever and ever. And make sure you're clear about, are they taking ownership of your copyright, whether it's 50% or any other percent, or are they just going to collect revenue for you during the term of the agreement? All right, I hope you guys found that helpful. Leave your comments down below if you want to learn more and to get help. I have a free contracts PDF. So when you are looking at your publishing agreement, you can negotiate it like a real attorney. So make sure you check that out. It's on topmusicattorney.com. And I'm sure I'll link it down below as well.